adult male, Park Street.
Here's my objectives for the day by the time we leave here. Provide some understanding for the process of search and rescue, how we get out there and do the search, and some of the search theories. Because you guys going out in the field, knocking on doors, searching different areas, you need to understand what's going on, what the process is, so that you can do your jobs better. So I want you guys to take away a little bit of that understanding. Like I said, it's a 40-hour class in search management that I teach. We're going to condense it down to about 15 minutes right here. So, but at least you'll have a little bit of an understanding. That's what I find from a lot of search teams, even the more experienced ones. They don't understand what's going on in the command post. So I want you guys to come away with a little bit of an understanding. Why am I sitting in the parking lot for 20 minutes before I get my search assignments, or half an hour, or 2 hours, which hopefully never happens. Also, I want to give you some skills. We're going to go over some skills on how to do searching. I'll give you some ideas on when you guys get out there, how you can do it thoroughly. Documentation, that'll be my third point, is give you some tools to use to document, to make sure that we've covered everything that we need to cover in our search. And we can go back and either, if we're suspending a search when we didn't find somebody, I have the documentation to say we've done pretty much everything that we can do. Or if something goes wrong, we could go back and figure it out. So, I'm going to start with, what is a search? This is very simple, but for the search manager, it's very important. First question is, what are we looking for? All right? It sounds very basic, but we have to remember, what are we looking for? Let me ask you guys a question. What do you think you're looking for when you're going on a search? You have a missing person, you have a missing Alzheimer's patient, missing child. What are you looking for?
Signs.
Clues. God damn, you guys, we're done. Let's get out there and do it. Yeah, clues. Because if we're looking for the person, you're going to miss all the signs that you're looking for, right? So as a search manager inside that command post, that's what I got to be constantly thinking. What can I do to find those clues that's going to lead me to that person? Because once I find the person, I'm done. I'm finished. We can go home, right? And what are we going to do to find them? Now that's the tricky part. What am I going to do what kind of resources do I have? What can I put out there? What's the best order to use those resources? What else do we need to do to make sure that my search people are in good shape? They're fed, make sure they get rested, make sure they have all the things that they need. So that's the big question, is how are we going to find them? What do we need to do? So when I'm running a search, that's what I do. I always go back to these basic questions. I've got a little bit of downtime, I'm sitting there, what do I need to do to support you? So what I need from you as people out in this field, what do you need? What do you need to help us find this person? So whether it's communications is lacking and you can't get out on the radio, it's not working, you need to know about that so I can get people to work on that. You guys are getting tired. You've been out in the field for 4 hours and it's pretty grueling searching. Do you guys need to take a break? So I know that, so I can, the next team that goes out, or send another team to replace you. So things like that. What goes on behind the curtain? What is going on in that command post? Do you guys get called out? And can somebody describe for me your call-out procedure? I don't know what it is.
If we have this type of thing, we have the county Everbridge system. We are a part of that, and that's what we use.
Okay.
In other words, we can send out a message simultaneously to everyone in our system. They'll get a simultaneous voicemail, email, and text to their home and cell phone numbers. We tested it this morning, and is there anybody that didn't get it at 8 o'clock that's completed the CERT program? Anybody who didn't get it? Make sure we get that information before, but that's what we use County Everbridge.
And so who initiates that call out? Where does that come from?
Well, this morning it initiated with our city OES manager, David Potter, but it can also be sent out by 911, or it can be sent out by the Monterey Police Department front desk. It's 24/7. So if we have to, we could go to them and they can send it out. They can initiate it.
So who has the authority to page out CERT? Who makes that decision? So we get Monterey PD gets a missing child in the city, and they've called out, they've got a bunch of officers working on it, they called out the fire department to come help. At what point and who makes that decision to call you guys out?
Our battalion chief, or division chief, excuse me, or the PD watchman.
Okay. So, again, what's going on behind that curtain? You guys get this page out. So the page out tells you to respond to a certain location, I'm assuming, and it'll be some type of staging area. We're going to use Dennis Cements Park, obviously, today. So you show up out here at this parking lot, and you're standing around, you see a bunch of people coming in and out of this building, because this is apparently the ICP, and you want to know what's going on, because you're ready to go, right? You got a missing person, you've been paged out, let's go, let's get on this. Well, what's going on behind that curtain is that the investigation is going on. You take, you have a missing child, all right? The family, the parents are here, they're up in arms, they're hysterical, they can't find their kid. He's 12 years old, we last saw him at his house, we don't know what happened to him. So the investigation is going on. If we just start searching, if we just start throwing people in the field, let's go look for them, without any investigation, without any pre-planning, a lot of things happen. But for the investigation part, that officer that's taking that report, he sits down, he talks to the family, he's calm, cool, he's reflected, he's got all this experience in interviewing, and he starts asking some pointed questions. Well, it turns out that little Johnny, this is the third time he's disappeared. Twice he ran away. This is the third time. And each of those other times he got pissed off at his parents and he went over to his friend's house around the block. So we have hundreds of people out here searching. Well, he's out down at Johnny's house. So without that component, so that's why I'm saying, I personally don't want to call you out whenever I'm ready for you. If I'm not ready for you, if I haven't covered all my bases yet, I'm not going to call you because I don't want you sitting out in the parking lot. But if you do show up, you get paged out a little early and you're sitting in the parking lot, that's one of the things that may be going on. We're working on that investigation, trying to figure out where do we need to pinpoint where we're going to start searching. What's our last known point? Segmenting. Also, we figured out what that last known point is. That investigation's still going on. They're trying to pinpoint more things, trying to figure out what we're even looking for, what kind of jacket they're wearing. Do they have a backpack? What kind of shoes are they wearing? I may have some dogs that just showed up. I called out some search dogs. I don't want to send a bunch of searchers into an area before I send my search dogs in there, so they may be going and doing their thing right now. And also, I've got a staff that's starting to segment a map. They get a big map of the area. They say, okay, let's make this into searchable blocks. Let's take this big problem and narrow it down into little problems, right? So we're segmenting the map, and there's a whole science behind how you segment a map and what you do to do that. We're developing some maps. We're trying to get some maps to give you guys in the field, so you know where you're going, know what you're doing. Because once you leave this command post, it's my intention that you guys are self-sustained. You guys know what you're doing, and you're going to go out there and do your search, and then come back and report to us. But if I don't give you those tools and I haven't done that, you guys aren't going to be prepared. Again, the investigation work, that is an ongoing, that's the thing that in that 40-hour class I harp on a lot. Let's get that investigation. You have to continue. Because we have another, when we're talking about segmenting and where we're going to put our resources, we also consider the rest of the world. That person's not even in our search area. They've left, they've gone to Tahiti, they ran away from home, that type of thing. So. And accountability, huge. I've already touched on a little bit. We have a bunch of forums. I got about 6 or 7 forums I'm going to show you guys that I do want you to use today. It's that accountability, not just its liability issues, liability problems. It's what am I going to do next? Without the forums, without the accountability, I don't know what I'm going to do next. We're going to be repeating our steps. I'm going to back up 1 second too. When you guys do get called out, a search needs to be very organized. It needs to be very thorough. A lot of people, when they start, they show up, and we call them convergent volunteers, people that aren't associated with an organization, they just want to come and help, and they come and they start searching. So you get something like that happens, you have no control. I have no control over it as a search manager, and they just go out and search. Well, it doesn't help our searching. It really doesn't, unless they find the person, which is cool. But everybody goes and we have a missing kid on the bike trail, right, or the rec trail. And everybody goes out to the beach to go search the beach. And there's no organization, there's no accountability, there's nothing going on. They're just going out there and they're searching. So they come back and we're trying to gather the information. Say, okay, so were you guys broken up into teams? No, we just went out and there's 40 people. Well, did anybody search underneath the wharf? I didn't. Well, I didn't. Well, it takes me how long to get through 30 people? So there's no, we need to contain that. So I enjoy teaching you guys. I think this is a great venue because I'm going to give you those skills to make it organized so that when you do go out and search, you're searching in particular areas. Another thing to remember, and people complain to me about this all the time, is well, I heard that Johnny was missing from 123 Ramona Street, and I'm searching way over here in the cemetery. There's no way he's going to be there. Well, my answer to you on that one is, how do you know? I'm doing an investigation. I have the segmenting. We need to cover this area. I have the experience. I know how far people will travel, or how far kids will travel. I get that all the time with Alzheimer's patients. Oh yeah, my mom, she can't walk. She uses a crutch or a cane. She doesn't even go anywhere. And you find them 3 miles away because for a lot of different reasons I won't get into here. But there's a lot of stuff that's going on behind that curtain to help lead this search. And the reason why, with you guys' knowledge after we get done today, you'll be an asset instead of I don't want to say a detriment, but not really helping. Again, I talked about the other types of resources. Search dogs are a big thing. We like to use search dogs. We bring them in whenever we can. If I'm using a tracking dog, I may have searchers in the area. It's not going to be a big deal because that dog will pick up a particular scent and try to follow that particular scent. But most of our dogs that we use around this area are area scent dogs. So they're just looking for a live person in a particular area. Well, if I have a bunch of searchers out there, or they've already been through that area, and I send a dog behind them, they're going to have false alerts all over the place. They're going to get confused. We're not going to be any use anymore. Again, other types of resources. If we have some technical terrain, somebody goes missing and we want to search up behind the mall, I may have to send law enforcement with you if we have a lot of homeless people out there. We're concerned about safety, and I want to send an officer with you guys as you go out in the field. Well, I got to try to pull those resources in. So again, you may be sitting here for a few minutes while I try to find those resources. I may be calling in resources from outside our county to come and help with the search. So all those things to think about. I'll touch a little bit on search theory. Urgency. Concentrate a lot on urgency and search urgency. There is a determination that needs to be made on how much resources we're going to throw at this problem. If it's a 21-year-old person that is reported missing, and I've determined that they're missing because they want to be, they don't want to be, they're living at home still, they've left, they don't want to be there, they're running away from a girlfriend, something like that, I'm not going to put a lot of resources in it, right? So you'll read in the newspaper, oh yeah, missing 21-year-old. Well, why the heck didn't we get called out? There was no urgency. We couldn't determine that, yeah, there was. But when we do get called, we want to keep that positive atmosphere, or atmosphere of positive urgency. We're not frantic. We are the people that are bringing calm to this frantic situation. We're dealing with family members that are all over the place. If we also are all over the place and out of control, then they're going to feed off of that. So we need to be urgent because we want to find this person. That is our whole objective, is to find our person. But we also need to keep it calm and collected and know that we have a job. It's called professionalism. We want to be very professional. The fact that you're wearing a uniform, that you've got all your PPE ready to go, it just gives that ambiance of, hey, we're here, we're going to do our job. We got a job to do, and we're going to do the best that we can. And it must be coordinated. I've already harped on that one. It has to be coordinated. We have to have that accountability. As you guys in the fire service know, accountability is huge all the time. Even when they go into a single structure, they have that accountability back to their base. When we're talking about searching, again, we try to keep it simple. It's a classic mystery. We're looking for clues. We're not looking for the person necessarily. If I'm looking for that footprint, I will find the person, right? If I'm looking for the person, I'm going to miss that footprint or that water bottle that they like to carry or that that going for. So think about that. When you're out there searching, and you're going to be doing it later on today, you're looking for clues, you're not looking for a body. Again, it must be coordinated. We will be using the ICS structure today. ICS structure between what you guys may be learning, but from the fire side may be a little bit different than what the law enforcement side would do, but it all is really the same thing. And we sometimes call it different things, or, but it'll work out. Again, accountability, and I'm going to make sure you guys are filling out those forms. Before you leave, you're going to be filling out those forms and making sure that we have that accountability done. And we do the briefing and debriefing. I want you to know what you're getting into. I am going to give you a very thorough, whoever, operations usually will be giving you a very thorough briefing. This is what to expect. These are your hazards. This is what you're looking for. This is how you report it. This is how you're going to get to your search area, or how you're going to get back to the base. All those kinds of things. And then debriefing is very important. We'll go over ICS. Have you guys all been to ICS training?
Yes.
You guys are pretty familiar with it. What's the number? I can't remember. ICS 100? 100, 200, and 700, I think? Or
Basic
something.
on
Yeah.
100.
Okay, so this will be a review, but I'll just go into it real quick. Incident command, probably in these situations, from the search and rescue standpoint, when we show up, we get called out. Hopefully we're getting called out fairly early in the process, but we're not going to take over the scene. We're not going to take over accident. I may be asked, if I show up because I am a commander with the Sheriff's Office, I may be asked to join the Unified Command. My team leaders generally will not be part of the incident. They will not be the incident commander and will not be part of that Unified Command. The final decisions are with the jurisdiction. So usually on a missing person, it's the law enforcement. So Monterey Police Department would be the incident commander. So final decisions will be with Monterey Police Department in this area. That doesn't mean we don't work together. We're not constantly talking and I'm giving advice, or my team leader is giving advice to what we should do. But for incident command, that final decision is going to rest with that area of jurisdiction. And they may be delegated over to the fire department, the EIC. They may have fire and law together as a unified command. But again, search and rescue doesn't come in to take over incident command. Okay. Operations. This is where our search and rescue team will get involved in. The operations, how to. It's out in the field, but how are we going to go and search for these people? How are we going to do that accountability? Everything the nuts and bolts of the actual search is going to be the operation. So a lot of times we will fall under operations and kind of take over that portion. The planning part, again, huge planning. In a search and rescue, in a search operation, planning is probably your busiest part of the ICS. They are getting the intel back. They are making that segmenting of the maps. They're making the search assignments. They are trying to figure out what we're going to do next. So planning is huge when you come to that. I may only have one guy in operations, running operations, and I'll have 5 doing plans. They're doing all the map work. We have programs to, especially when we're working in the rural areas and out in the wilderness, they have the mapping programs to track where our search teams are, what needs to be searched, all that kind of stuff, terrain. Logistics. I love using the fire department for logistics. Those guys know where to get stuff. So logistics will usually fall under that jurisdiction as well because they know where to get stuff for their local area. And finance, which is very rare and I do not touch. In the search and rescue world, everything is free. Even if I call the state and I say, hey, I need 4 helicopters and I need 50 searchers by tomorrow, they'll send it to me and I don't see a bill. We'll do the same thing for other counties. Our search and rescue teams goes out of county probably about 20 times a year. We've been to Yosemite this year. We've been up to Monterey County a couple of times. We're all over the state searching. So quid pro quo type of system. So I don't touch finance. And if we're tracking any type of finance like logistics, trying to buy water or food like that, that's going to be the local jurisdiction. If it's in the county, we'll take care of it. If it's in the city will take care of it. Breaking it down. Now this is where the nuts and bolts start for you guys. Search teams, optimal number for ICS, 3 to 7, right? That should have been in the basic. I like 5. Today we may use 6, just because we've got a lot of people. We don't have that much area to search in. We always assign a team leader. There is one person. I ran into this very early in my supervisory career. We would send people out, and we wouldn't designate a team leader. We'd say, okay, you 5, go and search this area. Here's your search assignment, go. Well, then you end up with a little bickering going on in that team. You've got 5 people talking on the radio, and not one person. You've got a lot of different issues. So I learned early, we assign a team leader. May not be the most experienced, may not be the person that's been on for the longest. It's just, hey, you're the person who's going to talk on the radio. If a decision needs to be made, you make that decision. Doesn't mean you're not going to collect info from the other team members, but you're going to be the one making that final decision. It just works a lot better. Anybody tell me why I put this picture on this slide?
He's all alone.
What's that?
He's alone.
There you go. And it's cold. That is snow.
Yeah.
Don't leave anybody out in the cold or alone, okay? So you're a team, you do everything as a team. Somebody's got to go to the bathroom, you're going to stand there and wait for them until they get back. You guys going to eat, you're all going to eat together. When you come in to debrief, you're all going to debrief together. So once you make up those teams, and you may not know the person that you're working with next to you, but for that day, that's your team. That's your team member, you guys don't leave. A little more nuts and bolts about searching. Okay, we search for clues, we've already done that. What is a clue? Okay, your briefing is going to tell you what they're wearing, what shoe size they have, what tread pattern they might have, all kinds of different things that let you know what a clue is. They come out, and part of the briefing is that they always carry Crystal Geyser water bottle when they go hiking. Okay, so we're looking for all. You come across a Crystal Geyser water bottle. Are you going to report that as a clue?
Yes.
Yes. You come across a Alhambra water bottle. Is that a clue? I would say no. I would say no. If you've given it for something specific, we don't necessarily need to know about it. I'm not going to fault you for calling it in, but just use some discretion when you're out there in the field as to what you think a clue is, because that overwhelms our system very quickly. I've been on searches where they didn't say there was a particular kind of water bottle, but people are finding water bottles left and right, and they're calling in, oh, I found a water bottle here, I found a water bottle. I have no way of determining whether or not that belonged for our missing person. Let's move on and continue on, right? So kind of use some discretion on whenever you're looking for clues. And people will disagree with me on that, even people within my own teaching cadre kind of disagree. I don't need to know all that stuff. Don't give me too much information, because it's time consuming to process, as you'll figure out when I show you the clue log and the clue report and all that kind of thing that goes along with it. So again, we're looking for a backpack, and it's a blue backpack, a JanSport, and we find a red, whatever kind of backpack out there. I don't care if you found a backpack, right? Now, you find that backpack, you go through it, and it has somebody's name in it. Well, we can report that in. It may not be related to ours, it may be related to something else, but use some discretion. And again, the procedures I talked about, and we'll go over these forms a little bit more, but yes, call in your clues and don't touch it. If it really is a legitimate clue, you find that backpack, step away from it, call it in, let us come out, whether it's going to be law enforcement or it's going to be a more experienced search member, something like that. Let us come in and assess it. We may tell you, hey, GPS it, mark it, and then move on, or mark it, collect it, and move on, but don't touch it until you get further direction from it. How to search, be very thorough. Talking about clues, all right? So again, this is early on in my career. We had a missing person, an Alzheimer's patient. He was out of the Bay Area. He found the keys to his car, drove away. Reported up, I think it was San Mateo. He was reported missing, all right? Well, not a search and rescue call out, because you don't know where the guy is at. You've got to find the car before you can do a search. Turns out the car was founded up by Napontet Road in our county, just outside of Castroville. Right next to an agricultural field, one of the garden choke fields. And deputies go out there, they found the car, they're kind of looking around, they don't find anything. A couple of footprints that lead away from the car, but then they peter out. It had been, I think it was either irrigated field or it had been raining, I don't remember which. So clues were pretty much obliterated. Search and rescue called out because now we have the last one point. We knew he was there at one point. So we go out and start searching. The search manager at the time told me and my team, I want you guys to go and search that field. Like, really? Come on. It's a field. I can see. Yeah, nothing's there. It's pretty deep furrows, but you can look down each row and we're done. It's clear. He said, no, you guys go out and walk the field. I want you, every other furrow, I want you guys walking. So we're looking for clues. Again, that's that clue awareness. So I'm walking along, and we're doing our thing, and I'm thinking this is a waste of time. I don't even want to be here anymore. And I'm walking along, I get to the end of the furrow, and I start to move over to the next one, and something caught my eye. I look down, something just caught my eye. And looking up at me is a face. This guy was covered in mud, completely covered in mud, laying back on his back, face up, alive, and he had pretty bad Alzheimer's. And there he was. My point of my story is, one, if you're given a search, just do it. There are reasons why you're doing it. That search manager, he'd been doing it for 25 years. He knew what he was doing. He said, this is what we got to do. And the other thing is look for those clues, because if I had just been looking for a body, I wouldn't have found it. More than likely, actually, I don't think, I got lucky. I think somebody was helping me out on that one, there was something different about the dirt. I swear, I wish I would have taken a picture. You could not see the rest of his body. All you saw were the eyes. So, yeah. So those are the things that we are looking for. When you go out, that's what I'm talking about being thorough. You know, that example I share with all of my classes because I mean, we saved the guy's life. He didn't have to die out there on that field. Yeah, he probably died shortly thereafter, I imagine. But, you know, he at least had some comfort whenever he passed. So those are kind of things that to be thorough. Nightmare. Will you find those today? I bet it's possible. Okay, you may find one or two houses that look like that. And are you going to rely on the homeowner to say, yeah, I searched my yard? Or are you going to rely on that convergent volunteer that just showed up and says, yeah, look, I want to help? Do you think they're going to go and search that? Not at all. So that's going to be our job to search that down and dirty. I'll share with you just a little bit. I'll probably keep it in this room as much as possible, but that search that we had up for the little girl that was abducted in Santa Cruz a few months ago, went up there and their search team had searched the apartment complex. They did not find anything, and we were expanding the search out. They actually came in on mutual aid to assist with that, and they continued to move it out. FBI came in. This another point I'll make on this one too. FBI came in. They brought 100 agents. It was amazing. I don't know where they found how many agents from. And this was day 2. No? Yeah, day 2 of the search. They collected all the video from the entire complex. There was like 20 video cameras out there. They collected all that and started watching it. They were able to see the suspect following the victim in the parking lot. Didn't see the abduction, but saw the following. Oh, that's weird. Later on, saw him bringing something and throwing it in the dumpster. Bottom of the dumpster, wrapped in plastic, everything else. More than likely, our search team missed it. And more than likely, it's because they didn't want to go into that dumpster. It's ugly, it's dirty, it's disgusting. But if they hadn't watched those videos, would she have ever been found? So that goes to that thoroughness. Yeah, like I said, when you're out here, and that's why we're going to call you, that's why you guys are professionals. We get down to dirty, and we have to do that dirty job. And that's why the purpose of why we're out here. So, thorough. And again, thoroughness. This is a great search. They're looking for clues out in the field. What's this guy doing? All right, let's keep our teams together, right? And know what you're looking for. If we're going to a neighborhood, and we're doing door-to-door searching, and you're knocking on, but you skip one because, I don't want to go with that, right? We don't do that. We're very thorough in what we do, methodical. So that leads me into our door-to-door techniques. What I advocate is that you guys, if you do not have law enforcement with you, because sometimes in some neighborhoods, especially in Salinas, we search the east side many times, and we will send law enforcement with our teams. But if you don't have that, and in this area you're not going to have that as much, and you got 5 teams, I want one person at the street or at the sidewalk. That person has the radio. They can keep eyes on both groups, so I send 2 to each door. And you can keep eyes on both of those. Now, if you want to do one side of the street and the other side of the street, and the other guy stays in the middle, that's fine. However you work it out, but always 2 to a door and 1 that's out by the sidewalk. 1 that's able to observe and make calls if there's a problem. If you encounter any kind of problem, a homeowner that is aggressive with you, a homeowner that starts to go off on you, do not engage. You step back and say, fine. You make that notation that this address needs to be checked and that they're, whatever the problem is with the homeowner or whatever, and walk away from it. Call in the command post and see what they want to do. So we don't engage people, and a lot of times there's certain people out there that will try to engage you in an argument and try to tell you different things. Hey, we got a job to do. Sorry, I won't talk to you about it. We got to move on. What else on door to door? I know you've done some, Mike. What am I missing? I know there was.
You've covered it.
Okay.
Dogs. Dogs.
Dogs? Yes. So you're going to get, in your briefing, you'll get different instructions. The instructions may be that you're going to just knock on the door, ask the homeowner to clear their house. Hey, we've got a missing Alzheimer's patient. Can you please search through your house and your backyard and report anything that comes in? So that may be an instruction that you have. If you're given the instruction, because this is a high probability area and we want our search teams in the backyard searching, homeowner asks the homeowner, hey, you got dogs, can you please tie him up? Yeah, no, he's friendly. I don't care. Please put him in the back bedroom or something. If you run across a dog that is aggressive, I wouldn't want you to risk being bit. So I would call that in the command post and let them deal with it. And they may just send somebody out there, SVCA or something. If nobody's home, we really need to get that searched. So I don't have any other advice unless you carry pepper spray. Pepper spray is great. It works very well. 20 years in law enforcement, I've only pepper sprayed a couple of people, but a lot of dogs.
Fire extinguisher.
Fire extinguisher works too.
Or great for dog.
Well, you can get those little canisters of pepper spray over there at Outdoor World or Big 5, and those work great on the dogs. I don't care how aggressive they are, they take off. They don't want any party once they get sprayed. And it wears off after a while. It doesn't hurt your dog. So it's a great way to go. Again, you encounter some dogs that you're a little hesitant on, probably call that in. Part of our forms that we will have you fill out in the debrief, we'll have a box in there for POD, probability of detection. I'll talk to you a little bit about probability of detection. We need to have some way of determining if that area needs to be searched again. So you're assigned area A, you've gone out there and you come back and you say that I've covered that to 85% POD. Probability of detection is either for a body, a live person, responsive person, unresponsive person, clues. There's a bunch of different check marks for it. I like to go POD by clues. Again, I'm clue oriented. So how likely is it that if that person left their backpack out there that you would have found? Oh, there you guys. How likely is it that you would have found that backpack in that particular area? So the way that I determine it, the way that you can think in your mind when you're giving this, is if you are in a field, or say the neighborhood, and you have your 5 people, and I've left 5 clues out there, size of the backpack. How likely is it that you would have found that backpack? That's how you determine it. Most people estimate very high. 85%? Nobody's going to get 85%. I don't want to see 85%. The way that I'm going to get my 85% or 90% or 95%, because I never go 100 unless we found something, is by overlap, by sending another team doing a different or another resource into that same area later on. So when you guys come back, just think in your mind, when we do this exercise out in the field out in Garland Park, we'll put a blood splatter, we'll put a gun, we'll put whatever out in the field, and we'll do a grid search, and we'll see how many of those items we find. It's amazing how many we don't find. It's very amazing. So try to estimate as best you can. And if it's high, we're going to question you. Really? You really think that? That's the POD. Okay, what to expect? What to expect when you get called out on a search? Your call-out procedure, which you guys already know, and now I'm familiar with too, so that helps me out as well. So we're going to call you out. Hopefully, when we call you out, we are going to be ready to send you in the field. So you're going to spend a limited amount of time here in the parking lot waiting to get your assignments. Okay. If it's, I've been on searches where we were sitting in the parking lot for 2.5 hours, and it's not fun. It's like, what is going on? And that's because that management team isn't doing their job. Check-in. I think you guys are doing the check-ins this morning, right? Make sure that you check in. You're not a part of that search until you check in. Are you guys familiar with the DSW?
Yes.
The disaster service worker?
They've all signed it.
Everybody signed a disaster service worker. So, you get called out to a search, I want to have that accountability, I know you were there, you get injured, yeah, he's been checked in, I can tell the state date, no, he's legit, he's all checked in. T-cards. I'll have a slide for T-cards. T-cards is how we account for people in the field. We'll grab your T-card, we'll put it together with your team, then we know we can account for who you're with, where you're at. And also on the T-card, we'll go over it. I want to know what your capabilities are. Are you an EMT? That's great for me to know because I get somebody that goes down and you're on a team that's close by, I can send you right over there to try to help with that. You have tracking. You're a certified tracker. I want to know that. And then the briefing, like I said, we try to do an overall briefing. Now, if it's a rapidly evolving thing, we need to get going, we need people out there right away, and I've got 5 people that just showed up, I may give you your briefing right then and there, down and dirty, okay, you guys get out the field. If it's something, we're in day 2 of a search, we've got a little more time on our hands, we'll wait till the whole group gets there, we'll do a general overall briefing before we send you. But, you're not going to leave that command post without being briefed. Make sure that you get that briefing. And then team assignments, we'll go over those team assignments also. We have forums that are very specific as to where we want you to search. We'll give you the maps, and then that way you know who's on your team, where you're going, how you're going to get picked up, radio frequency you're on, it has all the information on it. So you'll be given that team assignment right after the briefing. We'll break up and say, okay, team leaders come for your assignments, type of deal. And then debriefing. Again, you come in, some of you will probably today be assigned to debriefing. When those teams come back in the field, whether it's the interviewing the entire team or if it's just the team leader, I generally prefer to do the entire team together. I'm going to have one person designated to go sit down with those people and fill out the form. It's always better to have not just the team that's coming in because they're already biased. Of course they search it. It's 100% POD. Are you kidding me? So we'll have somebody sit down with them to help them fill that out. And check out. Again, we'll go back to that DSW, that accountability, check out. Because at the end of the day, before I go home, I'm going to make sure that everybody is checked out. And if somebody hasn't, we're going to be calling. Let me go back to the T-cards because the calling just reminded me. I mean, well, yeah, on the T-cards. When you fill out your T-cards, if you can include a cell phone number that you will have with you, that's awesome. Because sometimes, like I said, that radio goes down, it's not working, I need to find you, or at the end of the day, everybody's gone home and one person hasn't checked out. I want to make sure that they're not still out in the field someplace and fell into a hole. So, cell phones on the T-cards is nice to have. Here's the forms, next one. Check-in. So this is a check-in list that I use. You guys use your own, that's fine, it doesn't matter as long as we know who's here, what time they checked in, and then I use this also for the checkout because it's got a time on there for the checkout. So very simple, explanatory. Here's the T-card I was talking about. You've got your name up there, agency, you guys can put Monterey CERT, what time you signed in, are you ground searcher, resource, what type are you? You guys are probably going to be a type 4, especially in an urban area. With this class that I'm giving you, you guys will be type 4 searchers. You're not going to be, type 3 is more going up behind Jocelyn Canyon, that kind of thing, and that takes a little bit more expertise. Not much, but a little bit more. So you'd be type 4. Again, medical. If you have some medical, I'd like to know that. That'd be great to know. Again, if we're dealing with a flood out here and you got a 4x4, I kind of want to know that you have a 4x4. Command post, if you have some command post, you've been ops chiefs, you've been with the fire service for a long time, you retired from there or whatever, you have some of that, that's great to know because we always looking for people to pull in to help, even if it's just with the debriefing. Canine don't worry about, rescue don't worry about, tracking don't need to worry about. This part, I hardly ever use it. That's what my T cards are for. I mean, my assignment sheets are for. Team assignments, this is what the team assignment looks like. We have those pre-filled, Ken Owen back there, thank you very much, filled them out for me before we got here. So we have a bunch of team assignments already. In the planning department, they will be making these team assignments before we even issue them out. So we may have 30 of them sitting in the command post waiting, but we prioritize which ones get issued out before the other ones. So we have a huge area that we want to search, but we really want to concentrate right here today, or for this operational period. And then next day we're going to concentrate here, but we'll have all the team assignments made for the whole thing. So you're going to see them today. They're going to be filled out with what the assignment is. They're going to have the incident name and all that stuff filled out. They won't have the names, because I don't know who's going to be assigned to it. Planning doesn't care what names you put in there. All they want to know, all they want is, this is our assignment, this is what we need to get CERT. Now it's up to operations to plug in the names. So today we'll be plugging in the names. Sometimes we'll put the previous area searched. Hey, a dog already went through here. We had a search team go through this area already, so that you know, you start finding things, candy wrappers or whatever, dropping on the ground. Well, maybe it was from another search team. Footprints is a big one. You know, everybody, especially in the wilderness, hey, I just found a footprint. Yeah, well, that was another search team that went through that. So, drop off and pick up today will probably be self-transport. You guys will be saying, hey, you can either walk or drive out to your search areas. But if in a larger incident, you know, we may have buses or vans that are transporting you out, and that will say where we'll pick you up, where we'll drop you off. It's big for the helicopters too, because then the helicopter knows where to land these people off. Communications, we'll throw that in there today, what kind of radio frequencies you're using. And that's about it. If I issue you a radio, I'm going to mark it on this equipment. Oh, they're on our instant command. Next. Oh, any questions on team assignments? Pretty self-explanatory. I like these forms because they're simple and they're easy to use. Urban interview log. This is one that we just started using not too long ago. We had a problem with doing urban searches, and this even came in law enforcement when we're doing a neighborhood canvass looking for witnesses and types of things. How do we track which houses we went to, who was contacted, that type of thing. This form, please take it with you. Simulate, we're not going to be knocking on doors today, but you can simulate a couple of houses and just write them down. I met with John Doe at the door. He said there was 4 people inside the house. Here's how we can get a hold of him. Another question that's not on this form, but you could put under comments, is do they have security cameras? Because if they have a security camera, I can grab that. A thing on security cameras today, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but every time you leave your house, you're recorded by something somewhere. Whether it be your neighbor's security system that he has pointing on his driveway and catches your car as it's driving by. The convenience store at the corner will catch you at the light. The lights, a lot of them have those license plate readers on. So you're being recorded. We want to try to capture that information, because if this goes into a sustained search, I'll pull in resources to start going through those videos, and maybe we'll pick up our missing person walking through a certain area, or getting picked up and thrown into a van or whatever. So, and then team debriefing. Again, here's your PODs down here for responsive subject, unresponsive subject, clues. This, we narrowed it down to high, medium, and low, which is kind of a nice way to do it. But if you can put percentages in there, awesome. I do want to know who your debriefer was, so they will be putting their name at the bottom. If you're assigned to debrief that team coming back, I want to know who that was, because if there is a question, I know who to go back to. And a radio log. Do you guys use any kind of incident log or radio log when you guys are? Yeah. Okay, so you probably use your own then, or maybe the same exact thing. It's just a way of tracking that radio, because we don't want to use the dispatchers if we don't have to. Dispatchers are already, they're dealing with their day-to-day issues. I have pulled dispatchers out of dispatch center and brought them into our command post to run a search. Then they would be doing the radio log, or they would do their CAD entries that way. But this is basically, if you guys are familiar with CAD, computer-aided computer aided dispatch. This is basically your handwritten. And we have it on computer too, but I find it's a lot easier just to write. All these forms, we usually handwrite most of our forms. I don't have to wait for the printer to print it out. I don't have to wait for the computer to boot up. They don't go down unless I run out of ink, but I got a lot of pens.